Hello everyone! Welcome to Roseshiptea and welcome to 2026, a year that marks the 10th anniversary of Bungo Stray Dogs' Gaiden. It's also the year we fans have gathered to celebrate the occasion by making a Zine dedicated to it. A Zine that I almost ended up dropping out of? Twice? Here's what happened. For anyone who doesn't know, a Zine is basically an unofficial publication produced by fans of a particular piece of media to share it with other fans, either for free or on a paid basis, in order to donate the profits. Here are some examples of my favorite Zines, just to give you an idea of what a Zine could look like. They often include illustrations, fanfics, sometimes stickers or physical merch. Pretty much anything. Zines are cool and flashy, and they do not only create the joy for the fans, but often make the world a little bit better too. So, as an artist, seeing all of these cool videos about Zines, I wanted to join one too. As you can imagine, it didn't take long before I set out to Twitter, yes, I still refuse to call it X, and searched up the first fandom that came to mind. I've been a major fan of Bungo Stray Dogs for years now. I mean, just look at my Twitter page. There's quite a few arts dedicated to it. Like a lot. Drawings of Dazai, Chuya, Atsushi Nakatagawa, and Tsujimura. So, as I searched for Bungo Stray Dogs Zines, I found A Cat of Many Tails, the BSD Gaiden Zine. Cool, I thought, and in a couple of clicks, I sent out my application and forgot about it for the next month or two. Flash forward to the mid-October of 2025. A disappointing, stressful Monday in particular. I had unlocked my phone absent-mindedly in an attempt to doom-scroll the misery away on Gmail, as one does. You wouldn't believe how surprised I was to see an email from the Zine's team, waiting for me in my inbox to open it and discover that I have in fact been accepted. Why would it be all that surprising? Aren't you an artist? You might ask. And well, true. But here's the thing. My technique isn't exactly the most suitable for Zines. All of the artworks you see on your screen right now are traditionally made, some with paint, some with pencils. So, I had no digital works in sight, and not all digital-only Zines accept that. But luckily for me, this Zine did. Finally, I too can participate in a Zine. I joined the chat with other creators that day, and we all gave our little introductions. I didn't think much of it, to be honest, until a couple of days later, I saw another artist pop up to say hi, which was Duchess Celestia, one of the art YouTubers I watch regularly. Instantly, I was absolutely amazed, because it just feels unreal to be an artist with a small following, joining your first Zine, and you discover you're going to work with one of the most successful content creators in the niche. With that, unfortunately, also came the inner pressure of thinking, damn, I really have to nail my piece now, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself. And seeing other artists share their snippets and sketches as the Zine progressed, the pressure only tripled because everyone was so talented and so cool. I was in awe of Cloud's sketch, with its really cool composition and light blocking, and I remember looking at Avic's wonderful icons with the stars in my eyes. Looking back at it now, these really cool, experienced artists were doing exactly the thing I wish I had done too. Sitting down and actually starting to work on their piece early on without waiting for inspiration or the right mood. You know, as a composed, disciplined person would do. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me, because to add to my monstrous expectations for my own drawing, I was drowning in my own affairs, and by the time half of the artists were already done with their sketches, I had only begun to do rough thumbnails. Because, you know, the right idea either randomly comes to you, or the deadline approaching speeds up the process. Now, from the start, I had a rough understanding of which part of the light novel I'd like to base my piece around. I simply knew it had to be related to Tsujimura's favorite movie and its iconic line, "It's your mistake to be born in the same era as me." What took me longer to figure out is that, hey, I too can switch the era of time for my drawing. That's how the idea of my illustration came to be. I mixed the old Hollywood aesthetic with detective noir and made Tsujimura herself a movie star, with a mysterious, darker spin of true crime, of course. At last, I had an idea, so there was nothing stopping me from going all out, right? Wrong. The bitter lesson I had to learn was that perfectionism doesn't spare anyone. and by putting so much mental pressure upon myself, I was discouraging myself from working on the piece. Life, as always, was busy, and instead of accepting the results in whichever way they might turn out, I kept pushing the project toward later dates. I would justify by saying that I wanted to draw personal pieces too, or that I was busy studying, or at my job, or that I wanted to practice some more first. But the deadlines were approaching nonetheless, and they didn't care for my excuses. Naturally, I got really nervous as the time went on, and before I could even begin the drawing itself, working on the Zine became exhausting. Everyone was so nice and welcoming, but with life offering me very little respite, and with the weight of expectations kicking my butt, I was thinking to myself, okay, that's it. Maybe I should just drop out after all. Stubbornly though, I decided to push forward. Giving up meant having to bid this project adieu, and I didn't just cook up this amazing idea to let my fears of not executing it well enough halt me. I had a new set of Winsor & Newton paints that cost me an arm and a leg, a new stack of better watercolor paper, and a stronger determination than ever before. In a single day, I gathered myself and pulled off the sketch and the line art for my illustration. I was surprised to find out that once I actually sit down and stop listening to my fear of messing things up or waiting for inspiration, I was capable of finishing the job at hand really well. Thus, the disaster was avoided and all there was left to do was to color it. Coloring isn't exactly the fastest process for me, largely thanks to the time it takes for the paint to dry. But this time, I didn't start on it a couple of days before the deadline hit. I had the time and the motivation. Nothing could go wrong from here on out, right? Yeah, as if. First of all, despite having locked in and finishing my work far better than I thought it would turn out, I hadn't figured out why that has worked so well for me back then. I realize this now, in hindsight, but back then I was still making the same mistakes. I was juggling multiple pieces without focusing on any of them till I finished even one, and I was putting off the drawing because the coloring was frustrating and took much more time and effort to complete. Second of all, I was still very perfectionist. I wanted to learn as much color theory as I could before diving in, dedicate to it as much time as possible, and that, well, that's simply impossible from the jump. Finally, the real foe that had eclipsed my own mental struggles was real life. After all, it was December, and if you know anything about December, it's a cruel time to have many projects unfinished. I was hit with a double whammy of exams that stole away my time and energy like a hungry vampire that hasn't sucked human blood in a millennium, and increased work hours. I mean, it's the season for any big business, especially here in Ukraine, because we have tons of holidays that people celebrate throughout December. The St. Nicholas Day, Christmas, and the biggest holiday of them all, the New Year's. Long story short, my schedule had turned out to be far more packed than I had originally expected, and I was soon way too exhausted to even try finishing the piece. By the time I had any place to take a moment to breathe, I was faced with the sad truth. My life had become a crazy whirlwind of things to do, and I barely had any time to myself. I took a look at all the things I had going on and then looked at the line art of my Zine piece collecting dust on the shelf. I really wanted to finish the drawing, but I also knew I had to make my mental well-being my priority and let myself relax if I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I was almost certain I wasn't gonna make it. My working hours were increasing more and more at my job due to holidays. I was drained, and it just didn't look good for my project. I was still occasionally painting the piece, and I was making slow progress, but it wasn't enough to make it in time. I almost gave up on it, if only to keep my sanity intact. And yet, everything was changed by a virus. That's right, I got extremely sick. I was coughing like crazy, and my fever was high, so for a couple of days, I was in no condition to go to work. It was bad for my paycheck, but it was a blessing from the universe for my Zine project. Now if I worked fast and dished my perfectionism once again, I could actually pull this off. And I did exactly that. For several days, I'd battle my illness-induced fatigue and just draw. By December 30th, just a day before the final benchmark, it was done. I did it! Who knew that a high fever could make me so productive, huh? With that, I entered 2026 with a clear conscience and a lesson hopefully learned. And an even stronger flu that had gotten worse. But that's off point. The Zine had entered its final stages in 2026 too, so let me tell you more about the final results before I show some exclusive sneak peeks at my finished piece. Here are 5 interesting facts about the Zine's contents. Number 1. The theme of the Zine is dedicated to cats and spies, 2 favorite things of the light novel's protagonists. For my illustration, I was mostly going off of the spy motif, but I included a cat in the corner as an Easter egg. Number 2. That's also why there's a certain artwork inside of the Zine that was inspired by a poster of a famous spy movie. It would seem like cinematography is a common passion among us, the creators, so if you are anything like us, please drop your favorite movie in the comments below. I could really use a good relaxing movie after everything life had put me through. Number 3. We've got a musical soundtrack made exclusively for the project. Here's a little snippet of it. Number 4. There are also digital bonuses that come with the Zine. There are the cutest icons, chat stickers, and wallpaper options available. Number 5. All profits go to Palestine, which means that by purchasing it, you can not only buy something cool and man-made for the cost of a single coffee, but also support the real humans in need of your help. So don't miss out! It's up for sale until February 28th. All the links you might need to do that, as well as all of the links to the artists mentioned in this video, will be available in the description box. Finally, as a thank you for making it this far, here are 3 pieces of the finished drawing, including the cat I mentioned. While I'm not allowed to share the entire piece until the Zine selling period is over, if you'd like to see the entire thing, I encourage you to go purchase it right now, or wait until I share it on my social media once the project is over. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there's one thing this video teaches you, I hope that it would be the importance of disciplining yourself to finish your projects on time and organizing yourself better. Please don't be like me, and please don't forget to support this video by leaving a like, sharing it with your friend, and subscribing to my channel. I'll see you in the next one!